Is David Moyes getting a new contract at West Ham? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. Listen, it's Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and it's weird sometimes. I do miss Saturday afternoon football. We've obviously seen some of the results coming through. Everton drawing 2-2 with Spurs, Brighton winning 4-1 against Palace, Burnley and Fulham drawing 2 each at Turf Moor, and then that fantastic game between Newcastle and Luton Town. And what that game really brought to the forefront was sometimes just going for it, no matter the consequences. And it brings up topics of conversation with West Ham fans. It makes you think, why do West Ham not go for it? Why do West Ham not really push the boundaries to get a result? And if that means sometimes you give away a result or give away a goal, is that the right way to be? Our West Ham Network chat was going off during that game in particular, saying that love watching Luton Town, love watching their style of play. They play with no fear. And that is an exciting way to play. There's two sides to the argument. Play that way, and you could find yourself falling down the table. Or play that way, and you could average out over a season and do reasonably well and or do very well. I think one thing I will say is when you do play that way, I think what you do need is a squad. And I definitely know we don't have a squad in order to fulfill that need to be able to go at teams because we don't have the strength and depth. We don't have that ability to turn over the players and swap them out and give people an opportunity. So we are going to play with a small squad. And that is something that David Moyes has done most of his career. Now, David Moyes, the reason why we're here has delivered a contract update after the transfer window closed. Now, David Moyes says talk over a West Ham contract are well down the line and he expects further progress to be made following the end of the January transfer window. Moyes is due to be out of contract at the end of this season, and at one stage earlier in the campaign, it appeared unlikely that he would be offered a new deal. We've seen that many a times with West Ham. Sometimes when you get that kind of notorious backing from the board, then you tend to see something turn into something that it's not happened at West Ham. And he felt like that last year with the Fulham game coming up. He had the kind of dreaded board backing, and then he won the game and saved his job, apparently, according to sources close to the club. But David Moyes is now widely expected to sign an extension, having led the club to our best ever points tally at the midway point of a Premier League season. He's also delivered our first piece of major silverware in 40-odd years by winning the Europa Conference League. We're into the knockout stages of the Europa League campaign, which is due to resume next month as well. And he suggested himself just before Christmas that he would hold talks with the clubs or the club owners in the new year. And with the transfer window now slammed shut, West Ham losing a couple of players the day after deadline day, it confirmed that negotiations will resume. He spoke to Evening Standard, and what he said to them was, we'll get back to it, onto it now that the window is shut. Well, we're down the line and moving on it. We'll pick up with that again in the next few weeks. That brings again together the whole conversation about what direction are West Ham moving in. You know, we don't really know where the summer is going to lead West Ham. How will the second half of the season pan out when we do have such a thin squad? We've got young players sitting on the bench now, and we're going to have to utilize that bench with the young players. What does that mean for them? Does that even mean they get a remote bit of game time? We all know he doesn't actively use the bench a lot. Corney's not gone. Will he feature a little bit more? Paquetá, we have to wait and see what the news is regarding his injury. What will all this mean for West Ham in the future? Moyes seems confident. Moyes seems really confident. And again, it just throws a spanner in the works with amongst the West Ham fans. I don't really know what is the right decision. I really don't. I'll be honest with you. I think maybe there comes a time when you think you've done so much and maybe you hand over the reins to somebody else. But then there comes a time when you think about stability and you think about solidifying a position for a club that have passed over the decades struggled as a yo-yo team. And we're not necessarily being that yo-yo team right now. Okay, yeah, Premier League form hasn't been great, of course, but elsewhere things have been looking better. And you can't deny the better quality player is looking at West Ham or is coming in the door at West Ham. But that doesn't define what we're going to do for the summer. What defines the future of West Ham is whether or not we will sign a contract with David Moyes. If he gets the contract extension, then they obviously believe in the project. You're hearing rumours of Tim Steidten being linked to Liverpool. I don't really know how true all that sort of stuff is. What I can say to you is if you are good at your job, no matter where you're at, you'll be scouted of some sort by someone who has got more money or has got more prestigious silverware than the club or the job that you're currently in. So if Tim Steidten does come with the reputable experience and history of being such a good technical director, let's not beat about the bush. You don't have to be an insider to know that clubs will be keen at looking at you. It's the same with a manager. If David Moyes was out of a job tomorrow, there'll be plenty of clubs lining up to bring him in. It's about the direction the club want to go in. Is the direction with David Moyes the right direction? I don't know. Is the direction with a new manager the right direction? Well, I don't know. There are many managers on there that are on the tips of many fans' tongues that you want to bring in, but do they fit the description of West Ham? Do they fit what West Ham are looking to do? And the question, and the big question is, what are West Ham trying to do? What are we trying to achieve? Are we happy with solidifying, or do we want to push on? Can West Ham push on? That's the key question. Part of me scared to make the change, but the other part of me is excited by what we don't know and what we could expect. We all want to see better football on the park. Everyone does. But equally, we want to see West Ham in the Premier League challenging for stuff. And it's a hard one to take on board. The one thing I will say is, no matter what West Ham do, whilst we have the people in charge of the club, we will always be one step backwards, in my opinion, because I do think that they're always one step backwards with West Ham. The people in charge, the people, the decision makers up the top, David Sullivan, Karen Brady, they hold the key. And unfortunately, no matter what, it goes back to when you sign fantastic players, fantastic managers, whatever you say fit, these people hold the key to the success of what West Ham can do moving forward. The buck stops with them. They make that decision, then they've laid their bed, so they need to lie in it. And David Moyes, if he stays at West Ham, probably will have a point to prove again about this changing his style. Will he change his style? I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, he is confident he will get a new deal. Are you? Do you want him to have a new deal? Do you want David Moyes to get a new deal? If you are watching this right now, I would appreciate if you go into the comments right now and say yes or no to David Moyes getting a new deal at West Ham. Do you want it? Can you see it happening? And what way do you see West Ham going in the future? Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the bell notification. That will notify you when our shows do go live. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, hit on that option as well. Take it easy, everyone, and come on, you.